I love whistleblowers. Not only do they reveal government corruption in ways that are impossible to ignore, but they trick the government into revealing even more corruption by showing how far they're willing to go to silence it. And in the last week we saw two chilling examples of this. One was with the now infamous WikiLeaks revelation of U.S. diplomatic memos, and the other was in regards to Canada's most recent crime against humanity, the G20 protests. If you don't know, pretty much all of the WikiLeaks release pertains to a lot of highly unprofessional remarks and some illegal activity committed by U.S. diplomats who were stupid enough to put it on paper. Among the contents are remarks about corruption in Afghanistan and thin-skinned blowhards in European politics, which don't surprise anyone who actually follows the news, the United States spying on various friendly bodies, including the United Nations, a somewhat surprising fear of Iran among other Arab nations, and the former head of Canada's intelligence service basically mocking quaint Canadian values like honor and obeying the law. In fact, this gentleman, and I use the term very loosely, specifically champions torturing prisoners of war and exiling terrorist suspects into black holes like Guantanamo Bay. As for the backlash, not only are American officials trying to have WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange arrested for espionage, no word yet on whoever gave him the information in the first place, the usual right-wing blowhards are also saying he should be arrested for treason, forgetting that Assange is a foreign national, and this leak simply reveals the truth about certain things, both of which are kind of important details in making the case. There's also a tiny issue of a rape accusation that has been on and off the books for the last little while, which says to me that it might not be genuine. One of the funnier reactions is that Amazon.com has kicked WikiLeaks off its US servers, yet they're totally fine with a pedophilia handbook being sold on those same servers. Then there are those in Canada and the US who think that this man should be assassinated. Leaving aside that in some places those remarks are by themselves against the law, I find that very rich given that none of these people seem concerned with the illegal spying being done by American ambassadors and embassy staff against the country's allies. Then again, what else would you expect from a country that thinks it's fine for the Bush administration to reveal the name of an undercover CIA agent just because her husband criticized Commandant W? In any event, if all we did was release evidence of government wrongdoing and suspicion about foreign dictators, even if it isn't classified files, what does that kind of reaction say about our society? That if you report a crime and someone in the government is involved, you're the one going to jail? How the hell does that get right? Speaking of policing hypocrisy, the Toronto Special Investigations Unit, or Internal Affairs for my American viewers, finished an investigation into the beating of G20 protesters in Toronto. Specifically, Adam Nobody was ganged up on and beaten by several Toronto cops, and the whole incident was captured on a YouTube video. The SIU concluded that there were no grounds to lay charges, not because no brutality took place, because clearly it did, but because these brave and professional officers decided to cover their faces and remove their name tags while they were assaulting civilians. Of course, brand new Mayor Rob Ford stands by the cops despite the crystal clear evidence of corruption. Also, Police Chief Bill Blair is accusing the videographer of altering the tape, which, even if it's true, means absolutely nothing coming from a man who lied to the public about his arrest powers, tried to tell us that Nerf swords were a serious threat to the public, and has yet to produce any of the video evidence he claims to have that the 900 or so randomly jailed protesters were not degraded, beaten, sexually assaulted, or denied access to lawyers. Or for that matter, that the bulk of them actually broke any laws in the first place. It should be noted that Chief Blair has since taken back those remarks, but it's too little too late in my view. He should be fired and arrested for obstruction of justice. So yes, I love whistleblowers. If it wasn't for them, these corrupt government officials truly would have full control over us and we would never know it. Now that we do know, maybe the people would stand up to the powers that be, if they have the will. Oh, and Mr. Assange, if you happen to be watching this, I have a special request on behalf of Canada. Could you please try to uncover the actual cost of the Canadian G8-G20 summit, as well as who ordered the wrongful jailings, and who let the Black Lock run wild, and finally what the Prime Minister really knew about the torture and rape of our Afghan war prisoners? Because I'm sure you probably know this, Ottawa's not really willing to tell us that themselves, even under a legal threat. So, thank you very much if you want to take that seriously. Just a big help. That's it for me.